Welcome to the eRecruit training video series. This is video number 4, Conducting Launch Calls. This video has been broken up to 3 separate sections. When we're looking at launch calls, we're going to be looking at the actions or items that need to take place pre-launch call, then those action items that need to take place during the launch call, and finally post-launch call, those action items that need to take place to wrap up the launch call process and move forward. Let's take a closer look at those activities that need to take place pre-launch call. To begin our pre-launch call activities, we're going to start in the hiring manager record. Now there's a few ways to do this. You can come up here and search for your hiring manager, which of course is a contact. You can come in here into the quick search, or if you have recently been onto their contact page, you can go ahead and click right here. So our hiring manager's name is Charlie Brown. Before you even get into the actual position, I think it's always a good idea to come to the contact summary and take a look at some of the notes you have on how many interviews they like, what they'd like to talk about, what's the easiest way to get a hold of them, and maybe even review their hiring history to gain a better understanding of their hiring experience and exposure to our program. And once you've got that and you've got a really good understanding, the next thing you need to do is to be able to get into the actual position. Now, in previous videos, we've created that position, and just like looking for our managers, there are several ways to locate this. The quick search bar is always there for you to use to search. I prefer going to the logo menu, going into search, positions, and then clicking this little box here called My, which will bring you directly into all of your positions. Once the position record opens up, review the job description in detail. Next step will be to email the hiring manager. Using the hyperlink for email, you can open up the email template. The template we'll be using today is the hiring manager introduction email. Once selected, you'll notice that some of the fields have been auto-populated. This attachment is part of the template that you've chosen and will be sent to the hiring manager to provide them a good broad-based understanding of the hiring process and how the two of you will be able to work most efficiently. Once you hear back from your hiring manager on a date and time that'll work for them, don't forget to send them a meeting invite. This concludes actions that need to be taken prior to the launch call. Let's take a look at those activities that need to take place during our launch call. To begin a launch call, I'd like to recommend a best practice of starting in the contact record of the hiring manager. This will give you an opportunity to review the contact summary if you're not necessarily familiar with the working styles of this manager. Now, if you are and you've worked with the manager before over and over again, no need to take this step. Now we want to get into the position record, and the position can easily be found in the related area. Once clicking on the hyperlink, the position record will now open. Locating the action menu, I'm going to click on Generate Document. We are now able to select the correct template. We're going to select Job Launch Template. Click Word so we can edit that document, as well as add attachment. We'll be selecting the attachment type, Launch Document. And using the attachment name of the position number, position name, and hiring manager, I can now clearly identify that document. Although not required, attachment description might also help in identifying this item. Once we click Open for editing, we are ready to take our notes. During this call, we have a few goals that we want to try to accomplish. First, we want to validate both the position description and requirements. Review any knockout or pre-screening questions that might need to be asked. Review the sourcing strategy that you as the recruiter will take to find the type of talent that best fits their position requirements, as well as sharing the wanted analytics data to start setting expectations of recruitment difficulty. You might also want to take a look at reviewing the one-page overview if it's the first time that the hiring manager is hiring. We'll also want to confirm the position type. You might remember when we created this position in one of the earlier videos, we selected Source and Submit. You want to validate that to make sure that the position type is accurate. If it's not, we'll have to go back and make that adjustment within the position. For the purpose of this demo, we will stick with this position type. Once we've taken all of our notes here, all we need to do is go down to the bottom of the page and click Save Attachment. Once saved, those notes can be found here in the related menu. By clicking on Attachments, I'll be able to see a preview of that document. And there it is. That is the launch document that we just created with our hiring manager. This concludes the activities that need to take place during a launch call. Let's take a look at those activities that need to take place post-launch call. There are 6 distinct activities that need to take place post-launch call. 1. Send launch call notes to hiring manager. Notate the completion of the call. Create a follow-up meeting with hiring manager. Create knockout questions. Change status from approved to active. And update position type. To send the launch call notes to our hiring manager, we'll right-click on Attachments. From here, you can see the launch document we just created during our launch call. Now to send this document, you want to go ahead and click the checkmark box and then click Email Selected Attachments. This will open up the email template. Our recipient is Charlie Brown, the hiring manager. There's a whole library of templates to choose from. This time we'll be choosing the template Job Launch Post-Call Summary. You can see the subject and body have automatically populated. Might be a good idea to add the position name and/or number in the subject. In the body, there are several areas that need to be populated. These are highlighted here in red. All right, so we've got our email all set, ready to send out. Of course, a best practice would be to preview any emails that are sent, but for the purpose of this video, we'll go ahead and click Send. Now let's notate the completion of the call. We can do that here in the Notes and Calendar section and choosing the correct note. Here it is the Hiring Manager Intake Meeting. By clicking Save, this will date and timestamp that conversation in the position record itself. By marking this event, it has a direct impact on reporting the cycle time of rec to launch call. Now that this step is complete, let's move on to following up with the hiring manager. If the hiring manager does not want a regularly scheduled update call, the best practice would be to add a reminder to check in with him or her once a week. To add a scheduled item, you want to begin here in the contact record. Click the Add a Scheduled Item icon here in the Notes and Calendar section. Then select item type. We're going to use Weekly Update. Once selected, proceed with filling out the rest of the fields, specifically the start date and time. Both end time and priority are both optional items and can be used if that's what you'd prefer. Select the note action of Weekly Update and simply click Save. If knockout questions need to be used, we'll need to go ahead and create those. These can easily be done here from the position description by highlighting, click Edit, and scroll down to the bottom of the page. There are 5 knockout questions that can be used, although it is important to know that all questions must be answered with a yes or no. You can see we've entered in 3 questions here. I'll go ahead and click Save. Those knockout questions are now ready to be used. Next, we'll change the status from approved to active. Lastly, update the position type if needed. This can be done here by clicking Edit and selecting the correct position type. And that completes the 6 activities that need to take place post-launch.